Hello and welcome to a short introduction on the ecOOwl mapper software. Once again, the software will come as a zip, unzip it to a directory, double click on the directory, double click on the executable, start the program. So the program consists of 4 parts. It's got a control panel on the left, a map, a spectrum map, and a total counts chart. Okay, so first of all we connect to the sensor. The sensor has a spectrometer and a GPS, so we'll see straight away that the map jumps to the location of the sensor. You can see here I'm in Perth, and then down the bottom here we have a chart of the spectrum and then a chart of the total counts including the region of interest. So we'll see here I've also got a cesium source on the spectrum, so you can see the spike there. Okay, so basically it's connected. It's similar to the previous software. It's got the date and time coming live from the sensor, total count. We have this region of interest which we can define. So here I've defined it for the region where we'll see the cesium spike here. So if I press apply, we'll see that the chart's changed to that region, and then I can press this button here to go back to the full spectrum again. We also have this remote part here where we can see if the remote is logging. We can see how much data it's logging. We can see its position here, the number of satellites, the mode, and the horizontal dissolution of precision to get some idea of how accurate the GPS is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start it logging on the remote computer. So I'll just call this some imaginative name. So video file, video log rather. Let's try there. Okay, and then I'm going to start it logging, and you'll see that it's created the file. Created the file with the seconds of the clock that I'm actually on the computer that I am. So I like to use this method because it gives me, by using this, the timestamp of the file as it's created and the GPS time within the data. It gives me a way of correcting all the computer clocks, making sure that they're recording a common time. Okay, so we can see now I've logged 26 points, and we'll just leave that logging while I discuss some of the other features. Okay, so let's go back to the map for a second. So the map here is loaded up from whatever map server we decide. So if we look here in this tab control here, we have the map, so I can pick something like OpenStreetMap, and then we can see the OpenStreetMap version of the map, a Google Map version. Myself, I like to use the Bing hybrid maps. The map coverage works differently, I find, for different regions of the world. So I found Bing to be pretty cool all around the world. So I tend to use that one. Okay, so we can control our map there. The other coordinates that we have here is the coordinates that where the mouse clicks. So if you need to find the coordinates of a point that you need, that's where it goes. When we have this moving with the sensor moving, which this is a static demonstration, we'll see the path of the sensor and an indicator of the readings, which I'll show you later when we play back some data. Okay, so let's just leave it at that for now. I'm going to just shut off this program. I'm going to leave the logging running. Remember, this is the logging on the remote sensor. So I shut that off, and then next time I start the program, you'll see that it still remains there. You can still see that it's logging. I don't know the file name because the file name was started in a previous session, but I do know that it's logging, and unless I know I started it, I don't want to stop it really. But anyway, I'm going to stop this logging now, and you'll see that the logging is stopped, and then I can start logging again, and it will create a new file and start logging to the thing. Okay, so we can also see, so that data is actually logged on the remote. So here's my remote file viewer. If I refresh that, you'll see that it's our video test log. Here is the file. We open that up to have a look what's inside. You'll see it's basically an ASCII thing with the time and GPS, similar to the GGA message, and then the compacted spectrum data. So we'll go through that a little bit in more detail when we talk about playback. So the other thing that you can do with this program is log locally to the disk. So like I said, you can log remotely, which we'll just start up again. So we can log remotely, and we can also log locally to our local computer. So we can start logging here, and these are both independent. Obviously, any survey data that you're doing, you're going to log on the remote computer. But if you want to take a snapshot, or if you want to be sure and have 2 copies of the data, you can do logging locally as well. You'll lose if you lose the network link to the remote, then obviously you're not going to be able to log locally. That's where this has the advantage, the remote logging. So I can stop that logging there. Okay, so once again, that's the program really. With the map, you can zoom in by using the mouse to zoom in, and hold the right button down and to pan. Anyway, we'll discuss more of the map when we get to the playback section. So the playback's currently being worked on, as with the chart features. So with the chart, I'm currently working on putting a circular buffer here so that you can view the last 5 or 6 seconds. Because if I take the source away, which I'm just doing right now, you'll see that the region of interest count has gone really low, but you won't see any difference in here because this is an accumulative chart. Over time, this will disappear, but because of the way the chart is now, you don't see that the source has been removed. Now I've just put the source back, you'll see the region of interest count going back up, and you'll see it reflected too on this bottom chart as well. So I'm currently working on that. The other thing that we're going to do is we have a playback here, which allows us to take recorded data and play it back on the map, and I'll demonstrate that in the next video. There's still some work to be done on this. Anyway, that's a short introduction to the Spectrum Mapper. I hope you enjoy, and I look forward to any comments and feedback. Thanks again.